Okay, guys. Um, one of the best resources that I found for cold cases is the Charley Project. Also, before I get started, good. Can you hear this noise in the background? Is it like too loud? If it's too loud, put a one in the chat. If it's not, then don't even worry about it. Um, but yeah, one of the best places to get some information on cold cases is the Charley Project. They tend to provide a lot of information and background on the person that's missing, as well as sometimes they'll have updated age progressed photos and different things like that. So, and they always tend to include just seems like just about as many pictures as they can find of the missing person. So you tend to get a really good idea, hi Sherry, of how the person looks because there's so many different photos from different angles and different settings. Because people can tend to look different sometimes in a different light or in a different environment with their hair put a different way. So I like that about the Charley Project. The first thing I want to share tonight is the Charley Project's missing person of the week, and that's Aaron Holmes Silverman. He's been missing from Norfolk, Virginia since June the 5th of 1993. And you can see there they've got some good pictures of him. Let me zoom in just a little bit. You can see they have like two pictures of him at the age he was when he disappeared. And then they've got the age progressed photo. Now let me zoom back out so that I can actually read what's on the screen. So Aaron Holmes Silverman went missing on June the 5th of 1993 from Norfolk, Virginia. He is still to this day classified as an endangered runaway. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. He is a white male. His date of birth is 3/1976. He would be 46 years old today. He was 17 when he disappeared. At that time he was 5'10", 130 pounds. He was wearing a white t-shirt, faded jeans, black Converse sneakers, and a coral necklace. The necklace is important. The associated vehicles are a red Pontiac Trans Am. And he is a Caucasian male, blonde hair, blue eyes, and he has numerous brown moles on his body. The investigating agency, if you should happen to know anything about this case or if something kind of rings a bell as I'm reading it off, is the Norfolk Police Department at 757-664-7039. And as a matter of fact, let me go ahead and put that scrolling across the bottom. Five seven 664 7039. How am I messing this up? Let me try that again. There we go. Do that. Save and show. I can't brain tonight, y'all. Don't don't pay me no mind. Okay, so the details of his disappearance. Aaron was last seen leaving a party at a friend's residence in Norfolk, Virginia on June 5th of 1993. His brother attended the gathering as well and said that Aaron spent the majority of the evening with a freelance go-go dancer from Newport News, Virginia. Aaron was wearing a necklace that the dancer had given him. His brother stated that Aaron told the woman his family owned a boat and she could accompany him on a ride in the future. Aaron and most of the party goers were intoxicated at the time. His brother said that Aaron departed with the dancer sometime during the night and he has never been heard from again. Aaron did not graduate from high school and has a history of drug use. At the time of his disappearance, his parents had separated and he was having financial and personal problems. It was if Is that odd to you that a 17-year-old has financial problems? That's odd to me. It was not unusual for him to disappear for several days at a time. His family did not report him as a missing persons for weeks as a result of his previous disappearances. He did not take any of his personal belongings with him at the time of his disappearance, and he didn't tell his loved ones or close friends of any plans to leave. Authorities classified Aaron's case as that of a runaway since he had a history of leaving his home. Aaron's father began searching for his son after filing a report with law enforcement. He visited various bars in the Newport News area and one learned that one of an establishment's dancers had a blonde boyfriend who possibly fit Aaron's description. His father was told that the girl resided in a trailer park and drove a red Pontiac Trans Am. Aaron's father was unable to locate the dancer or her vehicle, and it's unknown if she was actually involved with Aaron. Aaron enjoyed fishing and played guitar at the time of his 1993 disappearance. He did not have his guitar with him when he vanished. Aaron's best friend stated that while he argued with his parents, they did not have serious relationship problems, and he didn't believe Aaron would have gone so many years without contacting his family. His parents divorced after his disappearance. His case remains unsolved and is still classified as a runaway. Now, what strikes me odd about classifying him as an endangered runaway even until now is that even if they thought he was, oh, well, how do I do that? I tell you what, I don't know how to turn off the notifications, but I know how to exit the whole thing. There we go. Quit Discord. Y'all can hear that? Wow. But yeah, I mean, even if they thought he was endangered runaway at the time, there had to come a point when someone said, you know what, maybe he didn't run away. He's been gone way too long. Maybe a year later, 3 years later, 4 years later, classify him as a missing person instead of an endangered runaway. Because, like I always say, I hate it when kids are labeled as runaways. When people see the term runaway, they tend not to want to get too invested in finding this child or looking for this child or really showing any type of concern for the case. And it kind of puts off on getting awareness out there for them, because when people hear runaway, then they think, oh, they're just trying to be grown, they're rebellious, they're out doing whatever the bad kids do, and that is just not necessarily true in all cases of a runaway. Some of these runaways are running from something horrible, and some of these runaways are running to something that they think is good for them, but it actually isn't. And runaways tend to get caught up in sex trafficking and drugs and all this other stuff. And in his case, they've already said that he had drug issues. So with him having drug use issues, even if he was a runaway, then you should be looking for him even more, because God only knows what he'll get a hold of. How many times do we look at the headlines and see that somebody OD'd? Nowadays, it's fentanyl. Back then, it was whatever it was, coke. Before that, it was heroin. People have always been ODing on these drugs out on the streets. And so if you know that this child has a drug problem and they run away, look for them and try to help them get the help that they need to overcome that addiction. So, yeah, now that I'm off my soapbox, there just had to come a point when, somebody said he's not a runaway this long. The dancer. I wonder if his dad showed actual pictures of Aaron when he went to this club and was talking to these dancers who said that one of the dancers had a blonde boyfriend and that she drove a red Trans Am. Because if I'm understanding the story right, the dancer that he was hanging out with at the party, he and her left in a red Trans Am. If I'm understanding that correctly, I could be wrong on that. So if that's the case, and he left the party in a red Trans Am with the dancer, then this dancer who had a red Trans Am and lived in a trailer park is probably the one that he left with. I wonder how often his father went back, to try to catch the dancer on her shift, or find someone who knew exactly where she lived or anything like that. and not victim blaming. I'm just really curious as to know how the father handled it. Was it a one-time thing? He went there, they told him this. He rode around some trailer parks and gave up, or did he keep trying, keep trying, keep trying? That's just a point of curiosity. Um, so anyway, that is Aaron Holmes Silverman. He's been missing since 1993. And this age progressed photo, I'm going to open this in a new tab so that they can get a close up look at the age progressed photo. So if that jogs anyone's memory, if you are from Norfolk and you were hanging out, you remember a party in June or the summer of 1993 where everybody was just having a good old time, and there was a freelance dancer there doing her thing. You know, if you remember anything about that, if it sparks a tiny bit of a recall, call the Norfolk Police Department and let them know, because a lot of times the smallest clue can be the key to solving a case. All right, so we're going to do one more case, and I'm going to let you guys do the picking and choosing. Are we going to pick a city or a letter? Whichever I see first in the chat, that's the case that I'm going to look up. Pick a city or pick a letter. Start typing. Right about now. Okay, a letter. What's the letter? And the letter is B. All right. We have Muhammad Samsudini Baba. I'm good. I cannot believe that kind of off topic, but he looks so much like, oh God, I can't remember his name now. The jogger who was chased and killed by the McMichaels and their friend. What was his name? This guy looks just like him in the picture with the hat on. He looks like they could be twins. That's weird. Okay. So Muhammad has been missing since November the 22nd of 2005. He is classified as an endangered missing person, and he's missing from Council Bluffs, Iowa. He's a black male. His date of birth is 9/19/83. He would be 39 years old today. He was 22 years old when he went missing. At the time, he was between 5'8" and 6 feet tall, weighed about 160 pounds. Um, the description of his clothes was a gray sweater and pants. Distinguishing characteristics: African American male, black hair, black eyes. Baba may go by his last name only or by his nickname Sam. He has a 1-inch vertical scar in the center of his forehead, and he may have a beard or mustache. Baba was born in Africa. Ahmaud Arbery, yes, he looks just like him in this picture with the hat. So he was born in Africa. I don't know, obviously, how long he was there. He probably has an African accent if he if he had learned to talk before he moved here. Not very much details. It says Baba was last seen approximately 3 a.m. on November 22nd, 2005, at his residence in the vicinity of the 800 block of North 35th Street in Council Bluffs, Iowa. He has never been heard from again. All his personal belongings were left behind. Few details are available in this case. If you know anything about this case, let me get that number up for you to call. This is going to be the Council Bluffs Police Department. And that number is 712, I'm typing it right, 328 5737. It's kind of weird that he disappeared like from his own home, but didn't take anything with him. Took none of his personal belongings. And so on this one, I have to wonder if there was some kind of foul play off top. Because, okay, in the last story, right, in the last case, he disappeared from a party. Obviously, he didn't have his personal belongings there with him to take with him. This man disappeared from right by his house or at his house. You would think that he would have took a change of clothes, some money, a toothbrush, personal hygiene items. I could think of so many things that if I were going to go somewhere for a while, that I would have to take with me. You know, my computer, my phone, my of course phones weren't a real big, well, 2005, yeah, not quite as big as they are today, but still a big deal. Everybody had one. I would take so many things if I were going to go away for any extended period of time. So this one, I kind of feel like this is um, foul play from the beginning, but please take note of his face just in case you might happen to see him, because there is always a possibility that he just said, forget it all, and went back to Africa, and that's why we don't know where he is. You know, there are all kinds of possibilities. Um, he could be living under a different name. We don't know what's going on with that case or why he would disappear like that, but I ain't gonna lie, I did it one time. I left home and all I had with me was a change of clothes, a purse, and a dime, and a Bible, and I just left. I didn't even call my family until I landed wherever the heck I landed. Like, hey, I'm in Dallas. So it's possible. It's possible that he just pulled up roots and went somewhere else. But I don't feel like that's the case here. Okay, so I got time for one more. Give me a letter. Illinois and Iowa are that close. I'm so bad with geography. I didn't realize they were that close. Q. And here we have Muhammad Hamed Kanavizi. He's been missing since 8/19 of 2016. So he's been gone about 6 years now. From Fort Jackson, South Carolina. His classification is missing. He is an Asian male, 27 years old at the time of his disappearance. He stands between 5'4" and 5'7", weighs between 150 170 pounds. He has black hair and brown eyes. Kanavisi was last seen in Fort Jackson, South Carolina on August 19th, 2016. He has never been heard from again. Few details are available in this case. And yeah, that's a whole lot of few details. This has even less details than the other. Sure, Sherry, buy a vowel. But if you know anything about this case, then the place to call would be the U.S. Army Criminal Investigations Command. Okay, even if they had details, they're not going to share them with us. They absolutely are not. So it may not be a case where there isn't information out there. It's just if it's being handled by the Army CIC, then it's probably on lock and key. So the number to call if you have any information about that is 803-751-8623. Muhammad Hamed Kanavisi. Let's blow this up and get a good look at some of his pictures. Okay, so he has a mole. Can't really tell which side the face is on because in one shot it's on the right side, and in the other two it is on the left side. He kind of has a unibrow going on. I'm just looking at distinctive characteristics. So he has really thick eyebrows. And he looks so different in these pictures. Like, honestly, if I saw that picture, if I saw just this picture with the shades on and then I saw this other picture on the bottom, I would not think that was the same person other than like the mole might maybe tell me. Well, I think that when the Asian, I can't remember, but I think he's probably from a country in Western Asia, like closer towards the Middle East. She can say the name of Felicia's friend. Yeah, I can. I can. His name is Chukwu Ebuka Nwobodo. And Sherry wanted to buy a vowel. I don't see the vowel up here. Come on, give me a vowel, Sherry. Yeah, it sounds Middle Eastern, but that's actually exactly what I was thinking. Middle East, Saudi Arabia, something like that. And the vowel is E. But yeah, he has that unibrow going on and that mole just near his nose there. I'm not sure which side is on, but um, that is two characteristics that would kind of stand out about him to me. And the vowel is E. And we have Melissa Dawn Eagle Shield. I believe she's Native American based on the last name. And yes, she is Native American. Missing since 10/5/2014 from Detroit Lakes, Minnesota. Classified as an endangered missing person. She is a Native American female born February 8th, 1972. She would be 50 years old right now. She was 42 years old at the time of her disappearance. She stands 5'1", 155 pounds. The last clothes she was known to wear were a black shirt and sweatpants with a South Park logo. She is an alcoholic. That is what they have listed under medical conditions. Distinctive characteristics: Native American female, brown hair, hazel eyes. Eagle Shield's nickname is Mitts, and her maiden name is Anderson. She has previously broken her right arm, her right wrist, and both ankles. She has a cigarette burn scar on her right shin, a cesarean section scar on her abdomen, a small scar on the middle of her forehead, and on a scar on her left eyebrow. And at the time of her disappearance, she had a wound on her head that had been closed with surgical staples. Eagle Shield has the following tattoos: a unicorn with the letters DS on her right shoulder blade, a smoking gun on her left forearm, and an unspecified tattoo on her left leg. She has moles on her left buttock, the left side of her collarbone, and the right side of her neck, and the left side of her abdomen, and a strawberry birthmark on the back of her neck near the headline. I think they meant hairline. Okay, let me copy and paste this instead of trying to type it in. I don't know why I didn't do that in the other ones. So let's get her banner up there. Okay. If you have any information on this case, then the place to call is going to be Becker County Sheriff's Office at 218-847-2661. That number is scrolling across the bottom of your screen. The details of her disappearance. Eagle Shield was last seen at a friend's residence along Country Road 126 near Island Lake in a rural Detroit Lakes, Minnesota, in the early morning hours of October 5th, 2014. Her friend thought she left sometime between 3 and 5 a.m. She left all of her belongings behind. This is starting to be a habit, leaving all of your things behind, including her including her shoes and her purse, and has never been heard from again. Now that is very strange. She didn't own a cellular phone at the time of her disappearance, and there hasn't been any activity on her credit cards. And that's strange about the cell phone, too, because it was 2014, I believe, when she went missing. Everybody had a cell phone in 2014. Eagle Shield apparently left the house on foot. Search dogs tracked her scent through the swampy brush around the house before losing the trail at a beaver dam about a mile away. She has been known to accept rides from passing motorists, and it's possible someone picked her up. Her case remains unsolved. Wow. There is a whole lot of oh my gosh in that. She's an alcoholic. She has a ton of scars. She left with nothing. She didn't own a cell phone. She left barefooted without her purse. And ladies, we all know that we do not leave our purses in the middle of the night. I'm going to agree with you, Elizabeth. I think she probably got in the car with the wrong person. 3 o'clock in the morning, walking outside with no shoes on sounds like intoxicated to me. I'm just guessing based on the fact that they made sure to put in there that she is an alcoholic. Yeah, she probably has a concussion from whatever that head wound was. And it was a pretty bad wound if they used surgical staples. So she probably was not mentally, uh, her mentality probably wasn't clear. You don't carry a purse, Sherry? I do sometimes, but when I do, I absolutely have to have it with me at all times. Um, yeah. So, and she's also a Native American woman. I wonder if the place that she went missing from was on tribal land. Let's see. Okay, we see that she's kind of chunky. She's a healthy girl. See one of those moles like right there on her neck. You can see it real good in these two pictures. You can see it in this one too a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna look something up real quick on this case before I get out of here. Dashboards. Okay, let me share this tab. See what Namus has. Was this Dolan, Eagle Shield? Sometimes you can find a little extra information on Namus. Okay, 42, current age 50, 5'1", 155 pounds, Native American, Alaskan Native. Okay, so they don't know if she's missing from tribal lands, and they don't know if her primary residence is on tribal lands. And we already read about the tattoos and the scars. She had on South Park themed pajama pants and a black t shirt. They don't have any extra pictures. Okay, I was thinking maybe we could get a little extra information because sometimes on Nameless they'll have a little bit of info in there that's not in like other places. So guys, I'm gonna try to get out of here. Let me check out the chat real quick. That's a good question, Elizabeth. Is she a cutter or a victim of DV? Definitely sounds like she got into the wrong car. Who's smuggling ferrets and why? Yeah, I was wondering about the reservation too, but it doesn't really say in either place. Guys, I'm out of here. I appreciate you joining me tonight for this little short live. Most cutters do it in more covered places, but that could be a dare. Yeah, yeah, definitely. A cigarette scar, I don't think it has to do with cutting. It was. It could have been an accident. She burned her, dropped her cherry on her leg, or maybe somebody just got mad and stuck a cigarette to her. Who knows? All right. Good night, everybody. I will be back Tuesday. Love y'all.